In this project, I'm looking at ways of preventing discrimination towards immigrants and other disadvantaged minority groups. What really motivated me to do this particular project is this recent surge we've seen in anti-immigrant sentiment all across Europe and more recently also in Spain. So for example, we've seen that there's an increased support for political parties who explicitly endorse exclusionary policies towards immigrants and other minority groups. So the two basic questions we're asking in this project is, why is this happening and what can we do about it? So on the one hand, I'm looking at risk factors that help us understand what might be driving those negative attitudes towards immigrants. And here we're focusing on both contextual factors, like, for example, the information that people are exposed to, or also the environments that they're exposed to, but also individual factors, such as perceptions surrounding their identity and particular ideological beliefs that they might hold. And on the other hand, we're looking at strategies. So we're trying to come up with some innovative strategies that might allow policymakers to implement and when they're trying to achieve integration of minority groups. In this project, we're working with a multi-method approach. So this year, we've been developing a large-scale general population sample, and we'll be running that as a 3-wave longitudinal panel throughout the year. And we're complementing that with a series of experiments. We've already ran 2 of those experiments, and we'll be running another 4 experiments throughout the remainder of the year. And in these experiments, the idea is really to think about some strategies and trying to find ways of tailoring particular recommendations to policymakers. So ultimately, the goal of this project is, of course, to advance knowledge in this area, to try and understand how we can reduce negative attitudes and prevent discrimination from happening, but then also to translate this knowledge to develop a set of specific recommendations that can be used by social policy makers when implementing specific strategies that might help them to tailor approaches to reducing discrimination.